Happy Monday, viewers! Today I've got another zombie game for you. This time it's a reprint of 2014's Run, Fight or Die, aptly titled Run, Fight or Die Reloaded. Coming to your FLGS from our friends at Grey Fox Games, makers of one of our favorite large group games, Deception Murder in Hong Kong, and designed by Richard Lonius and Jason Maxwell. This remake still has you fighting against your friends to escape the town whilst killing zombies and kind of sending them against each other, but mostly you're just trying to survive. It's hard out there. Come with me and we'll dig some graves. In the oversized box, we start with the rulebook clocking in at a whopping 22 pages, and it's just so much bigger than it needs to be. This is a rulebook, not a coffee table book. Also, fully 11 pages of this book is dedicated to the game's solo mode. More on that in a bit. The large channel here houses the game's zombie figures, colored orange and blue just for eye candy. The different colors have no variation on gameplay. Next to that are the game's boards. In this printing, the zone numbers were accidentally reversed, so my copy came with small stickers that I used to switch the Zone 1 and Zone 3 markers. Hopefully, if you pick this game up, your copy doesn't require this work. Also of note, these boards are identically double-sided. Again, no idea why. These reveal the character boards inside, giving you 5 choices of identities, and finally are the game's tokens, cards, and chunky dice. I'll set this one up so you can see everything, and let's go through how it works. Run, Fight or Die, or RFD from now on, is most easily understood as a more complicated King of Tokyo with less direct player interaction. On your turn, you're going to roll all of the game's chunky dice. Come see my new improv team, Chunky Dice, and then keep whichever icons you think serve you best. That is, unless you roll a zombie head. These have to be kept and can't be re-rolled, excepting in some rare cases of special loot or followers, which I'll get to in a second. The other die faces are baseball bat, which lets you kill up to 2 walkers in your zone 1, a gun, which lets you pick off a Zed in any zone you like, Run, which lets you move a zombie back a zone, including allowing you to remove an undead at Zone 3 and move it to another player's board. There's also Search, which lets you access loot and followers based on how many you roll, and Explore, which lets you into the location deck. Finally, the aforementioned Zombie side, which will add additional walkers into your zone at the end of your turn. After 3 rolls, generally speaking, there are cards that will affect this number up or down. You resolve your dice. Now, each of your characters will allow you to wholesale change a chunk of dice based on their player power. For example, our friend Rena, the ex-cop here, will you resolve 2 Zeds and a gun to let you kill 1 Zed in every one of your zones. She'll also change 2 walkers, a search, and an explorer into 2 searches and 2 explorers. Finally, her super combo takes 3 undead, a bat, and a gun, and hard stops the zombies from advancing in Zone 1 and lets you kill 5 of them from anywhere on the board. If the mutant zombie is active, it also lets you ping it for 1. There are 3 combos like this that let you manipulate bad dice into good ones. This goes a long way towards giving you some leeway in working through bad rolls, something that's always welcome in a dice chucker. After all your dice have resolved, there's the Mutant Phase, which will trigger one of these mutant abilities if the mutant zombie is active. This mutant zombie mat in the middle here is one of the game's endgame conditions. Tokens around the outside have points on the back of them, and when the mutant zombie is activated, you'll take a number of these tokens, place them face down onto the mat, giving the mutant zombie some hit points, which you can plink away at. Once all the tokens are gone from the mat, the game ends, from around the mat. The final phase of the game is the Advanced Zombies phase, because just as all dogs go to heaven, all zombies must shamble. Any brain eaters in Zone 1 will advance to your player mat, doing 1 heart damage, and why aren't these brain tokens per? If you or any of your fellow players run out of space to put tokens, you die and the game ends. Presumably all the other undead stop chasing your friends to eat what's left of your fresh corpse. Move the rest of your zombies 1 zone down, and then add 3 more to the space in your Zone 3, in addition to any zombie faces that you didn't resolve earlier. Pass the dice to the player on your left and wait for your next turn. You'll also be accumulating followers throughout the game, which will provide points at the end. They also contribute negatively or positively to your efforts. The higher value point followers will generally be tougher to eliminate and cause some issues with gameplay. The lower valued ones will give you nice bonuses, but are more squishy. The location deck contains the town line card, the one you're looking for, shuffled into the bottom. Once you've found it, you've found the third endgame condition. Whoever has accumulated the most points through remaining health, mutant zombie tokens, and these leadership tokens gets to say they're the leader of Bartertown now. Though it's possible I'm confusing my post-apocalyptic pop culture. Let's start right out of the gate with what bugs me the most about this game, and then I'll get into why I still think you should buy it. It's this, right here. This might be one of the worst rulebooks I've ever come across, and honestly, I don't know why it's so bad. I mean, I can tell you why it's bad, but I don't know how it got out the door like this. The first problem is that it's phenomenally large. I made the reference earlier, but it's literally the size of a coffee table book. I can't use this to casually refer to a rule in the middle of the game. I have to take it out and page through it while it takes up my whole world. Also, fully half of it is devoted to the solo campaign, which you can't play unless you buy the solo expansion. Why is this here? Why isn't this in the expansion box? The rulebook even says right here that you can't play the solo experience with the base set box, and it's another $10 to buy that. Also, there's rules clarifications missing. One of the main mechanics in the game are these loot cards. You start the game with one and you get them based on search dice results, but the rulebook is completely silent on when you can play them and whether or not you can play more than one per turn. A search on BoardGameGeek shows that the developer ruled that you can only play them during your action phase, but then someone else asked if there was a limit to how many you could play, and there's no response. I can't believe these questions weren't asked during playtesting, so how did this get missed? And before anyone asks the very reasonable question, if there's no rule telling you that you can't do something, why would I assume I can't? Because accumulating half a dozen or so loot cards is a very real possibility, and playing a bunch of them all at once to, say, do a ton of damage to the mutant zombie and end the game feels broken. Getting that out of the way, I told you that I still think you should buy this game, and here's why. It's pretty fun. Once you get the annoying stuff out of the way and learn to play, it feels good to roll dice and deal with an ever-increasing zombie horde. Cleaning out your zone 1 and 2 only to look over at your opponent with literally 20 zombies in their zone 3 and wonder how they're ever going to get out of that mess, only to see that situation reverse just a few rounds later, is exactly how a game like this should feel, and RFD does it. It looks great on the table, and all the mechanics manage to coalesce into a fun, tight little game. While there's certainly a feeling of everyone playing their own game here, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Given the fact that a dozen or so Zeds sitting in your Zone 3 space is not only likely, but somewhat inevitable, it would feel worse if I had one of my friends to blame for that. There are plenty of other games where you can directly screw your friends. This isn't one of them. RFD is definitely aiming for casual zombie fun, and while it's not perfect, it is fun. And that's the ultimate goal. RFD Reloaded is just a tiny bit more than multiplayer solitaire, with subtle player interaction mostly in the form of location cards and deciding what to do about the mutant zombie. This was just fine for me and my group, but may not be what you're looking for from a zombie game, even overlooking the fact that Grey Fox is charging extra for the solo campaign. Let's go through the checklist. In the box, rulebook clear and non-gender pronouns. Obviously, I've got problems with this rulebook, which I've already gone into, so I won't belabor them here. It does use the second person you, though, so it's not all bad. Iconography clear. Each of the dice's 6 sides are clearly different from each other, and the varying colors only help to offset these differences. This gets full marks from me. Packaging well done. There are actually more than enough bags to fit everything back in nicely, and there's lots of space in the large box for those expansions already out there. The card slots won't hold sleeved cards, which, man, just really bums me out. As I mentioned, there's plenty of room in the box, so I'm not sure why. On the table, good representation. Of the game's 5 in-the-box characters, at least 3 of them are people of color, and possibly 4, and 2 of them are women. I appreciate the attention paid to representation here. Component quality, pretty good overall. The Zed standees are a mixed bag, but the fact that they're here at all is worth something. Cards and tokens otherwise are decent and nothing special. Replay value, excellent. If you get through your first game of RFD and you enjoyed it, there's lots here to keep you coming back. The sheer amount of followers and randomness due to dice will provide a nice variation from game to game, on top of the fact that you may or may not see the same locations from game to game. Fun to lose. Because dice, this could be frustrating to fall behind and not be able to catch up. However, even the leader is dependent on those dice results, so there's lots of opportunity to rebound in this box. Additionally, there's some things you can do in-game to artificially extend the game a little if you think you're behind and don't want to end it. The hidden point tokens are also a great help here. Despite some pretty glaring issues, Run, Fight or Die Reloaded was a game that I actually enjoyed, and literally everyone I played it with liked it too. However, with my group, there's so much competition at the 4-player level that I absolutely have to have the promised extra players expansions so that I can play it with 6. At that player count, though I may sacrifice a little bit of downtime between turns, it's far more likely to see my table. Still, for fans of dice chuckers and zombies, this is absolutely worth a long look. I'm Nicholas, reminding you to help protect the game population. Always sleeve your cards. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed that video, please hit that sub button and check out all of our other offerings at goodluckhighfive.com. And please consider becoming a patron of the channel at patreon.com/GLHFmagic and help us keep making reviews, videos, and podcasts for as little as $5 a month. We're also always looking for new games to review, so if you make games or you know a company who does and wants to have their game reviewed on Good Luck High Five, please reach out to us at glhf@goodluckhighfive.com and we'd be happy to take a look. You can follow me, Captain N the Game Master, on Twitter and Instagram at CaptainNGM, and follow the channel at GLHF Magic. Remember, please shop at your local game store whenever possible. Until next time, I'm Nicholas, and good luck, high five.